Oh yeah, most definitely. Anytime you have an opportunity to come back home and play an opponent that you lost to, and the way we lost them their place, it's really exciting just to have that opportunity. And I think the players really understood that. They understood after watching film and prepping for them as well that they're a very good team, and that they're a team that was not going to give up, and they're going to keep on fighting. And they, no different than anybody else, want to have the opportunity to get to New Orleans and compete for an opportunity to play late into March. And so I appreciate the fact that the team worked hard. They came out of timeouts, very good timeout response in the last 5 games. We've had a very good job with the team being able to clearly understand what it was we're looking for and what we needed as we continue to move forward.
You've been talking about how Ariel is sort of adjusting to her role off the bench, and tonight she performs really well for you.
Mm-hmm.
What was working for her tonight?
Honestly, and I mentioned this earlier when I was on radio, I think with Ariel's probably one of the easiest players to coach. She's someone, though, who internalizes a lot, and she really understood. She never was looking to blame anyone. There's some adjustments that she's made, I think, off the basketball court in order to put herself in this position, and she deserved this opportunity tonight. I think she's hungry. I think she's ready, and she knew what the team needed. And we saw some maturity from a young sophomore.
What adjustments has she made going from the starters role to the bench that has made her successful?
I'm sorry, can you say it again?
What adjustments has she made going from the starters to the bench role, and how has she been successful in that role?
What adjustments has she made?
Going from a starter to the bench, and how does that change her game?
Well, I think it isn't necessarily all on Ariel. There's some other players that have been able to add to the landscape of the team. And I think when you add in 8 new faces, and of those 8 new faces, 5 of them are seeing consistent play right now, I think that just changes. It doesn't put as much pressure on her as well. It allows her an opportunity to continue to grow as a player more than anything else.
Can you? Oh, go ahead.
You had to think at some point, though, that she was going to break through. I mean,
Oh yes, Ariel knows. I had that talk with last week. My belief in Ariel runs really deep, as far as what I believe that the capabilities that she has as a Bobcat and what her personal legacy towards this program means and what it'll be. But a lot of it I put back on her. That's what I mean. She's very coachable. She's a young woman who I know I can talk to straight up. You might battle a little bit, but she clearly hears. We can come back, sit down at the table, and talk in a very mature way. I think when Ariel clearly understood that and took that to heart, then I think her eyes opened up a little bit more as to what the possibilities were. But my confidence in Ariel is really high. The area right now, as we move forward, we need to continue to mature in other areas. But I think you saw tonight definitely, what we saw glimpses of last year.
And what did you talk to her last week? What was that talk?
It's a private talk that we had. Player-coach talk.
And now you've won 3 consecutive games, your longest win streak of the year. What does that mean for this team going forward?
I think it's exciting, but it's not something that I'm actually going to put any credence into outside the fact that we've done a good job of being more consistent in certain areas. My goal is always the next one. The next one. Next up, Lafayette. That's where I'm at next. It's not as much, of course there's some long-term things that I'd like to do, but for this team to stay engaged is a word I use a lot. I need to stay engaged in the moment. The next opportunity that we have to play is Lafayette. My assistants will continue to look down the road for us, but for me to give them the best opportunity to be playing deep into March, I need to stay engaged, and the next game for me is Lafayette. I don't really look back outside of the fact I scout, look and see where we need to improve. But I truly, right now, I'm not putting a lot into records. They know this. I put a lot more into what we're doing and what is we need to do more than our opponent.
You are now at the halfway point of the conference schedule, and I think after I'm forgetting the game before Western Kentucky, you had talked about how you felt like you were about 80% of where you wanted to be.
That was UT Arlington.
Has that improved?
Oh, most definitely. I think we saw it. It was very exciting to go down to Western Kentucky. What a phenomenal! I kept telling them, and now they know they've experienced. I'm really happy for them to experience Western Kentucky, to play in front of that type of crowd, where the crowd is right up on you. It gets kind of hot and warm in there. It's a lot of fun, and that's a phenomenal team. They have not lost very much at all. They have a head coach that's been multiple times in the NCAA tournament there as a player. What a great testing ground for this team. And so at that point, we came out with that win. It was a beautiful thing for a lot of different reasons, but I was excited as far as where this team was.
It was 80% now. Where do you think it is if you had to put a percentage?
Right after that Western game, I definitely would have said we're right at about 98.
Yeah.
But after the game tonight, I think we're back down to 80%.
Ariel, now, why are you comfortable in your role, and why is it a good role for you as a player? Because you led the team with 19 points.
since high school, they always call me like a spark. So when I moved from being a starter to going to the bench, I had a conversation with Coach Z. I told her, don't think I'm going to take it in a negative way. I know the certain players that start now start the game off better, and I actually like coming off the bench because I get to see the game and get the feel of the game from the bench, and then I come on the court and do what I need to do. So, I mean, I don't know, I'm just a spark, and a lot of people can't hold me because I'm quick.
Okay, Ariel. It's a nice sound bite for our opponents.
Yeah.
And Eze, you had 16 points, 18 rebounds. You've been a really important force down the
18
middle.
rebounds.
8 rebounds.
Oh, okay.
18 rebounds a little bit much. You've been a really important for us. Talk about how you've been, in the team and how important you are going forward.
I feel like I'm real important. These last couple of games, I haven't been myself lately. Shooting outside jumpers and trying to do too much on the outside. So this game, I tried to go be more aggressive and go to the hole, and it rubbed off on a little bit. A little bit with attacking hard. She was getting the and one, she was getting the bucket, or she was getting the foul. And I feel like me being more aggressive, my team, it runs off on my team. So I feel like that's what I need to do to continue to move forward.
After that Western Kentucky game, how excited were you to get back out on the court and get a chance to sort of forget about what happened in that past game?
I was really excited. Like I'm excited for every game.
But it had to be nice to put it behind you, though.
Yeah.
I think as a team, whenever someone sort of, had a rough game, someone else has stepped up. I mean, you've been very consistent as a team. 3 or 4 of your players have, had, double-figure point totals.
Mm-hmm.
How big is that, when teams have to look after, not just one person, they have to look at 3 players and trying to stop them?
I would say it's scary. Being an opponent, I say if I'm down, look out for somebody else coming up. It's a team effort. It's not basketball is not an individual sport. It's all 5 players on the court. It's all 14 of us on the bench. So I feel it's a team effort. So you gotta look out because if I'm down, I got another player backing me up.
Coach, you've been playing a lot of close games and you've been winning these games. What do you attribute to your success, winning single-digit games, close games on the road and at home?
The team's ability to focus in a pinch more recently. I think that's really what it comes down to. They're hungry. I think they're beginning to see what the possibilities are for them potentially. We're at the halfway point. If you stay hungry, and hungry is a word I use, for those of y'all that ever been hungry, you understand what I mean, that there's something that you want and it's right there. You're not willing to just let it go away with the wind or just pass with the wind. You want to hold on to that. And I think the consistency area that I'm looking for, though, more so is I would like not to have to call timeouts to get them fired up, to get them going, to where they're able to kind of get it rolling on their own. And at that point, I'll put us in the 100% mark to answer your question. But until we get to that point right now, that's my job to help them understand. And they get it, though. That's why I said timeout response is great. They get it. They understand it. They're focused. They focus whether it be offense or defense, whatever we draw up. I've been able to easily draw up plays this year. Then last year I wasn't able to do that so much. I'm easily able to draw up plays. They execute it. Easily be able to talk about what we're going to do defensively, and they execute it. So the focus is there, and that's the area that I'm really excited about. That's why in close games they find a way to just get it done. I mean, that's just called heart.
Actually, do you think anything's clicked as a team the last couple of games? I mean, the performances that you've been able to put together offensively and defensively?
I mean, we go into every game with the same mindset: go aggressive, go hard. Because if we do, we're gonna end up with a positive effort. We're gonna end up with the win. So it doesn't change for us. I feel like we're coming more together as a unit. We're getting more. They knowing where I want the ball. I'm knowing where a little bit wants the ball. We learning everybody's motive. So I feel like we coming together. We right there. It's like Coach Z said. We're right there, and we're not going nowhere.
And this is for Ariel and Eze. How have you guys been able to, come together as a unit, like you said, in the last couple of weeks, especially?
I would say in practice.
Yeah.
Practice. Coach Z forces us to huddle. Every time out, every possession, huddle. Get the feel of the game. Know what we're doing offensively, defensively. That's our time as a team on the court with no coaches by our side to know what we're doing as teammates and as a family, and just to go out there and play hard. Mm-hmm. Play hard day in and day out. That 40 minutes on the court, we going in.
Yep. Picking each other up, whether you're doing bad or doing great. Just keeping a positive mood in the middle of the huddle. The seniors step up and say what they need to say. If somebody else feels like they need to say something, it's not like you overlook anybody. Everybody has their opinion, and it's a positive vibe, really. Just keep staying together is really, that's it.
I guess, Ariel, sometimes when you're on the bench, it's an up and down minutes total. Sometimes it's really, really high, sometimes it's sort of low. Is that the biggest adjustment that you have to make to your new role, that you've had to make to your new role, just sort of finding, that to where when you're going out on the court, you're ready to go and you're ready to make that immediate impact?
I never really half the time I don't know how many minutes I have, or like I said, I just go out there. I'm the spark of the team. I just go out there and try to do what I need to do for my team. I really don't worry about the minutes, honestly.